Boeing is a flagship American company, and aerospace is a key job creator for the U.S. economy. More than 2 million Americans work in this sector. So more orders equals more jobs.
Thousands of Boeing employees remain on the picket line. This as the company says they plan to cut its global workforce by 10%.
When America's factories go silent, the world pays attention. Boeing, the legendary aircraft giant and a symbol of American industrial power, has quietly started shifting parts of its production overseas to save costs. This isn't just a few bolts and wires. Entire production lines in Seattle and South Carolina, once the source of tens of thousands of jobs, could soon be gone. This isn't just Boeing's story. It's about whether America is slipping into an era where it no longer builds for itself. What pushed Boeing to this point? Why does America's reaction speak volumes? And what happens when Made in America becomes just a memory? Once people said, if you hear the hum of machines, that's America's heartbeat. But in early 2025, that heartbeat stopped. Quietly, no press conference, just a leak in an internal memo. Suddenly, economic reporters turned their gaze south to Mexico. Boeing, once the pride of U.S. manufacturing, is moving big chunks of its work to Monterrey. Fuselage parts, wings, electronics, all assembled where labor costs are just a sixth of what they are in the U.S. Add in lower taxes and cheaper shipping, and Boeing could save nearly $500 million every year. The CEO didn't mince words. On CNBC, he said globalization isn't optional anymore, it's survival. For millions of Americans, that hits hard. Boeing once built Air Force One, brought soldiers home, carried America's dreams skyward. Now those same wings are flying south. Meanwhile, Canada watches quietly and smiles. As the U.S. fights over tariffs and tax breaks, Canada's cutting deals with Boeing suppliers. While America builds walls, Canada rolls out the welcome mat for supply chains looking for stability. So what does it mean when a company like Boeing, once a national treasure, leaves home soil? Are we seeing the end of an era where companies and countries stood side by side? And this is only the start. The White House's anger isn't just talk. It's turning into new political orders that could shake global supply chains. Stay locked in, because next we'll break down how one tax move could freeze billions of dollars in aircraft forever. Back in 2017, standing among shiny jets in South Carolina, the then president promised thousands of workers, "We will bring jobs back. We will build here at home." That promise echoed like a vow. America flying high, the working class lifted up. But now, as Boeing shifts its line to Mexico, people are asking, what happened to that promise? Think of American manufacturing as a building once blazing with lights. Over decades, bulbs went out in Detroit, Pittsburgh, textiles, electronics, and now aviation. And just as leaders promised to light it all up again, another switch flips off. Then came new tariffs on aluminum and steel. Meant to revive U.S. manufacturing, they did the opposite, raising raw material costs so high that even Boeing can't compete with Airbus anymore. Small suppliers are shutting down. Facing soaring costs, Boeing took the only route left, south of the border. Cheaper labor, stable policies, no heavy tariffs. When costs at home break the bank, even America's icons have to choose survival over nostalgia. When a symbol of American pride packs up and leaves home, what does it really say about the state of the nation? The U.S. government once slapped tariffs on imports to protect American jobs. But instead, many companies that actually hire American workers got hurt. A study from the Peterson Institute found that Trump's tariffs wiped out over 75,000 manufacturing jobs between 2018 and 2020, doing the opposite of what was promised. Big companies aren't sitting idle. They're moving production, dodging loopholes, or simply pulling out. Boeing is a prime example. It's proof that tough talk and taxes alone can't beat the reality of a global market. Look at Canada. Smaller than the U.S., but instead of waging trade wars, it invested in people, technology, and local supply chains. Companies like Bombardier have survived storms and still build at home. Even niche players like Viking Air thrive with provincial backing and clear long-term plans. Meanwhile, the U.S. talked big about bringing jobs back, but didn't adapt to how the world actually works. If Washington can't keep Boeing grounded in America, who can? Maybe it's time to admit that slogans won't save factories. Only smart, patient investment will. Picture this, an empty Boeing plant in South Carolina, once alive with engines roaring and workers laughing. Now only the wind blows through. Just over the border in Mexico, a new Boeing line hums to life. Same planes, different flag. So what really took flight? These aren't just companies, they're American icons. Coca-Cola stands for generosity. Ford for horsepower. Boeing? For over a century, it's been the dream of flight itself. From building bombers in World War II to the mighty 747 that shrank the world, Boeing didn't just build planes. It built American pride. So when Boeing shifts its production out of the U.S., it's not just a business move. It's a crack in the American spirit. Imagine the White House moving to Vancouver to cut costs. That's how shocking this is. Boeing isn't just metal and wings. It's a symbol of American innovation, grit, and sky-high dreams. When that flies away, what's left behind? When a Boeing 747 lifted off the runway, it didn't just carry passengers. It carried a message. America could do what no one else could. But today, as Boeing's factories pack up and move overseas, we're forced to ask, what can America still build for itself? The fall of an icon rarely makes headlines at first. It happens in pieces. A factory shuts down, a department is outsourced, a supply chain slips away. One day you look back and hardly recognize the company that once filled you with pride. That's Boeing now. Many say it's just a phase, that Boeing will always stay American. But the numbers tell another story. From 2019 to 2024, Boeing's U.S. workforce shrank by 22%. Once bustling centers in Seattle, Renton, and Wichita are shrinking, while new offices pop up in Mexico, India, and Poland. And it's not just Boeing. Hundreds of local suppliers, bolts, electronics, seats, are feeling the squeeze. A Boeing jet today is a global Lego set. Wings from Japan, doors from France, wiring from Mexico. Even final assembly in the U.S. looks shaky. Older generations still remember the pride of spotting the Boeing logo high in the sky. For younger ones, the name mostly pops up in stories of crashes, failures, and budget cuts. A symbol, if neglected, doesn't stand still, it falls. When Boeing pulls out, the damage spreads. Local suppliers lose their biggest buyer. STEM programs dry up. Trucking, logistics, inspections. Whole industries shrink. It's like cutting down a giant tree in a forest. You don't just lose the tree, but the vines, the grass, the nests. Meanwhile, look north. Canada's aerospace companies, Bombardier, de Havilland, CAE, are smaller but stable. They keep production local with defense contracts, provincial support, and tight ties to schools. They bet on advanced tech, not cheap labor abroad. In the U.S., leaders say we move to Mexico to cut costs. In Canada, they say we stay to stay competitive. Two mindsets, two roads, different futures. So what do we want? Is manufacturing a burden to ship out, or a backbone to protect? If companies like Boeing lose their American roots, will we even recognize the country that once led the world in innovation and skill? A company can leave the U.S. quietly, but when its symbol fades from our minds, that's when a deeper shift happens. Boeing's still here, but the Boeing millions trusted may have taken off for good. Tom, a former chief engineer in Seattle, knows this too well. He worked 25 years without missing a day, and still got discarded like old scrap. His words choke with emotion as he stares at the locked factory gate. He's not alone. He's every American who believed that hard work, loyalty, and honesty would bring stability. In 2025, America answered him with silence. Back in '99, Tom joined Boeing when it was still a dream job. Good pay, good benefits, a sense of purpose. He'd tell his son, "The wings I build carry doctors, scientists, firefighters around the world." Today, Tom's unemployed. His wife's nursing hours got cut. Their son, studying mechanical engineering, may drop out. Tuition's too much now. "I never needed to be rich," Tom says. "I just wanted fairness. Why are people like me left behind?" That's the question millions of Americans are asking right now. Think back, the 70s and 80s when Detroit built every Ford. Pittsburgh forged steel by the ton. Textile mills hummed across the Carolinas. America made things, and the middle class thrived. Then steel vanished. Coal shrank. Textiles moved to Bangladesh and Vietnam. And now, the airline industry, America's last industrial giant, is quietly slipping away too. This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Digital Garage has so much more in store.